Hey friend, Sean with Guided Productions. Now, recently I picked up the Shinobi II monitor by Atomos, however you want to say it. And I gotta say, this thing packs a punch. It does everything that I wanted it to do and then some, but I gotta say it didn't do all those things straight out of the box. There were quite a few settings that I needed to tweak both with the monitor and my camera itself, just to make sure that they were speaking well in tandem with one another. But I wanna give you a full review of this monitor so that if you are exploring camera monitors out there, you know exactly what you'd be getting your hands on with the Shinobi II. Now, quick disclaimer here. I know that most of my channel is focused on budget gear, right? My whole existence here is to help you get the most professional looking video content without spending the hundreds or thousands of dollars on unnecessary gear. Friend, this is absolutely a nice to have, not a must have. Must have? You get the idea. But there's certainly nothing wrong with investing in other tools as your skill set grows. I think that there is a need for camera monitors. I think it really is helpful and beneficial when you are on site during your production. There's a lot going on, and especially if you are a one-person videographer, having a larger screen and some additional features that are built into this thing can come in really handy on that day. So that's why I'm talking a bit about camera monitors. But friend, stick with me to the end. I do want to give you a free gift. With that out of the way, I don't want to waste any more time, so I'm going to get off screen and take you right inside the Shinobi II, as well as my camera settings, so that you can skip the challenges that I had to deal with and get up and running with your Shinobi II in no time. So let's go ahead and get into it. I know I said we were going to jump to the monitor and then the camera, but before we even get that far, we have to make sure that our camera is even compatible with the monitor, right? Before I spent any money on the Shinobi II, I came to the website and made sure that my Canon EOS R8 camera was compatible and I'd get the full features and functionality of the monitor. I'd be able to use that. So let me show you what I did. Honestly, I just Googled compatible cameras to the Shinobi II by Atomos and it brought me to this nice website. Atomos makes it really easy. You just gotta select the product that you're looking for, the monitor that you're working with. If it's a Ninja, I'm working, as I've said, the Shinobi II. So I'm gonna click that. It'll load some cameras. It's just pulling up all brands right now, but I can filter down to the type of camera that I have, and I am shooting on a Canon, so I'll click that, and you'll see that it already went ahead and loaded some previews. Now, if there are additional cameras not showing, usually this load more button will be illuminated. You can click that and it will expand the full scope, but I can see right here at the end, the Canon EOS R8 camera does come up. If I click on that, I'm brought to this page where I can read the product specifications, and you'll see, yes, it is supported. And the basic camera control options I get are listed right here: record, start, stop, white balance, shutter speed, aperture, ISO, the whole 9 yards. All of this I am able to control with the monitor and not the camera, which is really handy. I don't have to worry about fiddling with the teeny tiny display on my camera. I can work entirely off of the monitor, which is really helpful. Touch to focus, yep, that's supported as well, and the control interface is USB-C. So this is really helpful. I would recommend checking out your camera compatibility before you ever go to buy any type of monitor, but Atomos does make it really simple to do right here on the website. So let's talk about connection real quick, because if we don't have the connection right, nothing is gonna come up on screen the way we want it. We're not gonna unlock all those features and functionalities of the Shinobi II. So when I first put this together, I was running my camera straight to my V-mount battery to power it, because I don't like the tiny little batteries that come with my R8. They just don't last very long. So I was running off of a V-mount battery. Now, when I plugged in my Shinobi II, all I did was hook up the HDMI cable. I had video, but I didn't have any touch control. And that's when I figured out you do in fact need the USB-C cable as well. Both of these need to be plugged into the camera to get HDMI video in addition to the touch control functionality. But that eliminated the one and only USB-C port I had to plug my camera into the V-mount battery. So how am I gonna power this thing? Well, as it turns out, I went ahead and got myself this battery eliminator. The Shinobi II does come with its own power block, but it's heavy, it's bulky, and I wanted one source to kind of rule them all. And I wanted to power everything from my V-mount battery because I can easily check the level and just make sure that everything is good to go, and I only have to swap out one source if needed. So I got this battery eliminator from Atomos with the DC barrel to D-tap connection. Goes straight into my V-mount battery. That powers the Shinobi, and the Shinobi is now powering my camera. So it's just this nice loop, and I have full functionality in terms of touch control and video streaming through my monitor. So now that I have my connection set up, I want to dive into the settings and walk you through everything that I had to put into place to make sure I was unlocking all the features that I needed for my production. Now, one of the first things that I noticed when I plugged in my Shinobi II to my Canon EOS R8 camera was that the monitor, the screen itself, was pretty noisy, and the resolution, it just wasn't a really nice looking image. It's probably hard to see here in the camera, but to me, it's really fuzzy. I'm focused in on the car, but it just doesn't look very nice. And I knew it's only a $200 or $300 monitor, so maybe that had something to do with it, but it just felt like it should produce a higher quality image. So I did some digging around and come to find out my camera has this default setting called standby low resolution, where basically it drops the resolution when I'm not filming. And all you gotta do is just turn that off and hop back to your picture. Again, you're probably not seeing a drastic difference, but for me, everything is much clearer. This is exactly what I expected to see when I plugged everything in. Super easy setting. All you gotta do is make a fine-tuning adjustment in your camera and you're good to go. Now, the next thing I noticed is if I tap this screen, you see how the focus follows wherever I'm tapping on the screen? Well, that wasn't happening for me when I first plugged it all in. You gotta make sure that you have the USB-C cable connected that we talked about at the very beginning. That's what's gonna give you the touch control. But if you're still not having that touch availability, the control that you're looking for in the monitor, you do need to go to a setting inside of your Canon camera. And let's see if I can find it quickly for you here. It is going to be in the wrench, and it's going to be this one, touch control. So number 4, you go to touch control. I have it set to standard. If this is disabled, touch control is not going to work. As long as we're on standard, we're good to go. And then make sure your connection is USB type and not something else. So once that's all set up, you're going to notice that not only will you be able to click on different areas and focus on different parts of the video. If I want to focus back in on the car, here we go. But if I want full touch functionality of my camera without having to touch any of the buttons here, I can click this little camera icon. And now I can start and stop record with my monitor. I can change the white balance, shutter speed, aperture, ISO, and other things as well right here from the monitor. And even if I do that, here, I'll just change the aperture. You can see the image is already getting darker because I'm closing that up. So really handy to be able to use that right there on the big screen. You don't have to worry about tapping the tiny little screen that came with your camera. So just a couple of settings there to unlock full touch capability and you're good to go. Now, another challenge that I came across with the Shinobi II is that anytime I went from my live feed and tried to play back a video that I had recorded, it would have a super long delay. It would get all glitchy. There'd be lines all over the screen. I felt like I was breaking the thing. Turns out that's normal. It's just the monitor switching gears from live feed to video playback. Apparently there's some technical things that have to be converted inside the unit that I am not well versed to talk about, so I'm not even gonna try. But it was kind of a pain to flip back and forth. Say you're working with a client and they wanna see a preview of what you just filmed with them, and you wanna pull this up. You don't want your monitor to be all glitchy and a super long delay and have a bad picture and all that stuff. So all you got to do is go back into your settings. We're going back to the wrench, but I think we need to be in, yes, we need to be in number 3. All the way down here at the bottom, you see HDMI resolution set to 1080. Your camera likely will default to having that at auto. And you see, even when I select auto, it says display may take some time until the camera switches resolution. That's what was happening. It was causing this delay. It was causing this glitch. Not pretty. It looked pretty rough. So all you got to do is select 1080p. And everything is good to go. So now when I go back, you see I've got my live feed here. If I go to play back my video, not only does it load the video super quick, but I can even select it and play the movie back to me. And you see there I am sitting down to film my intro like I did earlier today. Now, one other thing I thought I would talk about is how to import your LUTs onto your Shinobi II. Now, for example, I shoot in C-Log3, log format in my Canon R8 camera. And usually you get this really flat grayscale image because it's collecting all that data and then you convert it to a Rec 709 or some kind of color detail later in the editing process. But if you're working with clients or even as you set up your composition and you're on site, you're doing your production, it can be really challenging to understand lighting and coloring, your white balance and all that good stuff when you're only looking at a grayscale image. So it's nice to have at least a Rec 709, a very basic LUT, thrown onto your Shinobi monitor so that you can see kind of what it's going to look like when you edit. So for example, if I go into my settings here, you'll see I have different tabs here at the top, and I've got one that's called LUTs. So if I select an empty folder, you're gonna see I just went to that grayscale image, very flat image. There is some color detail there, but not nearly as vibrant as it was when I had the Rec 709 on there. And it's just not very flattering. It would be challenging to try to explain to a client, don't worry, I'm gonna color this up later, or you could just show them a color version. So all you have to do is find the LUT that's hanging out somewhere on your computer and just drag it onto an SD card like the SanDisk I have right here. You don't have to name it anything crazy. You don't have to convert the file. You'll pull it on here and you'll click this folder here. Now mine's gonna yell at me because I don't actually have an SD card in the slot. It's asking if I wanna overwrite my LUT, which I do not wanna do, but you will have a folder here and it will show all the LUTs that you have populated on your SD card, and you'll be able to select up to 8 to put right here in these rows if you wanna show different colors or different custom looks, that sort of thing. Me personally, I just have my Rec 709. So you see I've got my grayscale log format footage here on the left. And then of course I have my nice colored 709 footage here on the right. You can just hide that as well. And this makes it a lot easier when you're trying to understand the color space and what you're doing during your production, as well as playing things back for your clients. Now, friend, I hope this was a helpful look inside the Shinobi II monitor as it is connected to my Canon EOS R8 camera. I have to imagine if you're running this on a Sony or a Nikon or some other brand, you're gonna have a similar experience. And if you do have any questions, leave a comment below and I'd be happy to investigate this further with you. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, camera monitors aren't necessary for creating high quality or professional looking content. In fact, I've probably filmed more without a monitor than I have with, but I have no problem investing in some of the gear that's gonna better serve you if there's a place for it. And I found during recent productions that running off of my tiny little camera monitor was just limiting me in a bit with framing and composition and some of the other things that I was trying to achieve. So I decided to invest in a couple $100 camera monitor just to see if it would help me out. And so far, I'm in love with it. Friend, I also recognize that the Shinobi II is not the only camera monitor on the market. So if you have a different monitor that you're using and you're passionate about that and you think that it rivals the Shinobi pretty well, drop it in the comments, because not only would I like to learn more about that, I think it's really good to have a helpful place that compares and contrasts each of these things. If you're watching this video, chances are you're probably shopping for a camera monitor right now. And so it'd be nice to have in one place, see what other people are using, what people recommend. This I found is a great option for me, but it might not be the best fit for you. So please drop it in the comments what you're using and let us know why and how it could benefit us. Now, friend, I also promised a gift at the end of the video. It's my film studio gear guide. Go to guidedproductions.com/studio gear guide. I outline all of the necessary gear, keyword necessary there. Camera monitors don't even make the cut here. It's all the gear needed to create high quality professional looking content. I outline the cameras, your mics, your lights, and some other things as well. And I've even packaged a lot of these things. So if you're coming in with $200 to spend, I can show you exactly where you should spend that money and not waste a dime to get the most bang for your buck. If you've got $3,000 or $4,000 to spend, I'm doing just the same there as well. So you're not wasting anything and only investing in the things that are going to create high quality content for you. Friend, go to guidedproductions.com/studio gear guide and get your free copy today. That's what I have for you here today. Go have an amazing day. Go create something incredible, and I will see you on another video real soon.